Hello, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Game 55 of the regular season. Astros win 2-1 over the Red Sox. Couldn't just, not have a stressful game. No. Couldn't do that. We had to have another rather nerve-wracking game. So, immediately getting into it. Framber Valdez making his second start back from, coming back from that injury. And I was kind of nervous. I'm like, man, oh man, what is Framber going to be like? Right? Because for his career, he's usually been more so a bad pitcher than a good pitcher. His 2019 was horrific. So what if he comes back from the injury and isn't what his 2020 self was? And he said, you're right, I'm not going to be the 2021 me. I am going to make that one look like an absolute scrub because, man, oh man, in his first two games, he has looked fantastic. So tonight, first inning, right? First inning. Bases get loaded. Two kind of weird hits, but the bases get loaded. Bases loaded, walk. 1-0 immediately. And Framber could not throw a strike in the first inning, right? He was looking real rough. Now, gets a very nice, gets out of it, right? Gets out of the first inning, only 1 run given up. But at that moment, I believe he threw 31 pitches, and I'm like, okay, so 3-4 innings, maybe sort of something like what happened, Friday with him, where he might pitch 3 or 4 innings and then you bring in Christian Javier, because Christian Javier was already warming in the bullpen at the time, after the first inning. And then Framber Valdez simply said, yeah, so, how I was really sketchy in that first inning? Pfft, we're done with that. I'm going to be Randy Johnson for the rest of the game. And then he was. And in the bottom of the first, the Astros would get the run back to tie it up at 1. Altuve with the leadoff walk, and I want to talk about this at-bat a little bit in depth, right? Jose Altuve has a very, very underrated amount of plate discipline. This was a fantastic at-bat, right? In a vacuum, like not looking at the history of what game it was in a vacuum, just looking at this, every at-bat individually, you'd be hard-pressed to say that there was a better one. This was a fantastic at-bat by Jose Altuve, starting out down 0-1, or 0-2, and he battles back to draw a walk. I feel like Altuve could consistently have a 380 or better on base, but he just kind of chooses not to because he likes to hit and likes to swing at things. But this at-bat is a perfect show of his plate discipline, a fantastic one by Jose Altuve, drawing a walk to get that leadoff base runner on. Fantastic. After that, Correa battles for a bit, and then a bullet, 112 off the bat to left off the Crawford boxes to put runners at the second and third with no outs. Bregman would then strike out. Yordan would get hit in the foot, which, it wouldn't end up mattering because the run would score anyway. If he didn't get hit, Altuve would have scored, but on the next batter he would. Yuli with a deep sac fly to make it a 1-1 game, and then Kyle Tucker would single to reload the bases before Robel Garcia would strike out to end the first inning. But man, oh man, was it a crazy first inning for both teams. Fourth, after a little bit of quiet for both teams, Kyle Tucker with a leadoff double. Man, oh man, Kyle Tucker. So, he's finally making all the people that defended him this season, last season, for the past 3 or 4 years, that are saying, no, you can't trade Kyle Tucker at the deadline to go get a bigger guy. You gotta keep Kyle Tucker because he can be great at this level. And he's finally showing it off. He's finally doing that. He is a 5-tool player. He has got pretty darn good speed, fantastic everything at the plate, and elite defense. I want to talk about how elite his defense is, but given how good it is, the numbers probably changed from when I started to write it up. But rest assured, defensively speaking, UZR, defensive runs saved, he is the best defensive right fielder in all of Major League Baseball, and that is not an exaggeration. I will talk more about that probably tomorrow. Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll talk about his defense a little bit more. But he leads off with a double, and he's finally starting to make all of his defenders look actually good and reasonable people, and not just guys that are counting Magic Bean saying, no, I swear to God, it's good. I promise you, it's good. So that happens. Wild pitch to the next batter. He moves over to third. Garcia would strike out looking. Straw with a ground out, but Tucker with a very good read would come home to make it a 2-1 ball game. And then Martin Maldonado would fly out to end the fourth. And that was it for a while. In the seventh, a beautiful pitch on a 2-2 count by Framber Valdez, but a really, really, really bad frame job by Martin Maldonado. Maybe they got crossed up, but that was just real bad. It was a perfect pitch by Valdez. Should have been strike 3. but then a really nice swing and miss for the next guy to get Framber out of the 7th. And man, oh man, oh man, just tip the imaginary cap to Framber Valdez. A fantastic night. 10 strikeouts, only 2 walks, only the 1 run given up. And man, oh man, if you would have told me after the first inning Framber was going to go 6 more innings without allowing a run in any of those 6 and pick up 9 more strikeouts, I might not have believed you. But man, oh man, Framber Valdez, fantastic game tonight for him. In the 8th, Stanek would come in and have a pretty darn good inning. And in the 9th, Ryan Pressly would come in, let a pair on, which, that wasn't great. It was kind of starting to make me breathe a little heavy. But they get out of it. The Astros get out of it. A massively broken bat on the final batter of the game pops it up to the infield, and the Astros take their 4th straight, their 3rd straight against Boston, win the series at the bare minimum 3-1, and now, tomorrow, look to go for the 4-game sweep against Boston and win their 5th straight, which is fantastic. We're going to do some pitching lines, then the final thoughts for the game, and beyond, because I have to. Framber Valdez, 7 innings of work, 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. And the run, I believe 2 of the walks, I think both walks, actually, now that I think about it, and at least 2 of the hits came in the 1st inning. So really you got, 6 innings of work with, 3 hits, no runs, 9 strikeouts. Like, that is fantastic from Framber Valdez. After that, Ryan Stanek, good inning, 1 inning at work, no hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Ryan Pressly gets the save. Pair of hits in his inning, but no walks, no runs, and he gets 1 strikeout for the night. That was the dryer in the background. Sorry about that. So, my final thoughts. Framber Valdez is magnificent. There's no other way to put it. 2018, he comes up, right? And there was no space for him in that pitching staff. There just wasn't. If you look at the starting rotation, because he is 100% a starting pitcher, you look at that rotation, and it was Verlander, who was competing for the Cy Young, Cole, who was not as much, but still, kind of in the conversation for the Cy Young. You had Keuchel, who had won the Cy Young 3 years ago. You had Morton, who the next year would be nominated. And you had McCullers, who the year before was an all-star. Like, that was such a fantastic rotation. So there was no space for him there. Then 2019 happens, and he's rough, to say the least. He has a very rough season. I believe a 79 ERA plus in 2019. 2020 happens, and he's the ace of the Astros staff, which was a total shock for me along with everybody else. Then this year, right, misses the first month and a half, 2 months due to injury. And we're thinking to ourselves, well, I'm really looking forward to having him back. But which Valdez are you going to get? Are you going to get the 2020 Valdez, or are you going to get the 2019 Valdez? Is the injury going to affect him at all? And it did, right? We did not get the 2020 Valdez. We got one so far through his 2 games that was a whole lot better than that Valdez. 1.64 ERA through his 2 starts. And I don't care that it's 2 starts. I don't care that it's 11 innings, right? That's beside the point. He has been fantastic through his 2 games so far this season, which is super encouraging. And right now, you have a staff for the Astros. I'm going to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole, so just bear with me. You have Valdez right now, who started today. You have Greinke, who's still a very solid starter. You have McCullers, who should be coming back anytime soon. After that, you can really just keep going. You have Luis Garcia. You have Jake Odorizzi. You have Javier. You have Urquidy. Like, the list just keeps on going. The Astros legitimately have 7 starters right now. Like, capable starters. And I am totally cool with a 6-man rotation. Like, that's perfectly... I'm down. If you want to go, once McCullers gets back, if you want to go, like, just off the top of my head, McCullers, Greinke, Valdez, Odorizzi, Urquidy, and then either Garcia or Javier, I'm totally down for that, right? And theoretically speaking, way down the line, if at the end of the season, right, if by a miracle Verlander is back, that could be a really, really good rotation. If you go top to bottom of Verlander, McCullers, Valdez, Greinke, And Odorizzi's at 5 for the... Yeah, that's 5. And then the other 3 can kind of be in the bullpen. That's a very good rotation. It's not the 2018, stacked deck rotation, but it's the, Mom, can we get something to eat? And she goes, no, we have stuff at home. That's the version that this is, of the stacked deck, that rotation. Like, that would be, I'd be more than adequate. Even if Verlander doesn't come out, that's more than adequate to go into the postseason with. But Valdez coming back and being this good, man, that is just so encouraging. Stanek, another very good outing, which is fantastic to see. Presley, a very, very, a bit shaky, actually. But overall, no runs given up. He gets the save. The Astros win a game without any RBI base hits, which I have not seen in a very long time. A sac fly and a ground out, which is just strange to me. Altuve, 0 for 2, but with 2 walks. He was the only one that drew a walk tonight. That's kind of funny. And the Astros only had 4 hits tonight, which is even funnier, if I'm being honest with you. Like, the Astros offense was bad, and Framber Valdez basically just said, get on my back and I will carry you to victory. Like, this was a gem from Framber Valdez. I'm ecstatic about that. I also want to mention this, because this was relevant. Yordan Alvarez in left field today. Didn't have to make too many plays. I think there was 3 total putouts for him, but he looked somewhat comfortable. I'm not crazy about having him start in left field. This is a very, very, very good hitter, and I think it's sort of silly to potentially risk him out in left field since he does have knees that have already had surgery. I'm cool just letting him DH. Maybe in the next 2 years you start working him at first base, but I don't think it's necessary to have him out there. If they do, I guess that's fine. If it's on rare occasion, like once every couple of weeks, that's okay. But I really don't want to see him out there as an everyday thing. Like, unless we're playing in a National League ballpark, I don't want him in left field too much. But, again, I thought he was fine. I have nothing to complain about there. Again, sort of an off night. Like, a bad offensive night, but I'm not going to complain about the offense in the game that we won. Right? Because that would be kind of ridiculous of me to do. But overall, just a gem by the pitchers tonight, truly. We play the Red Sox again tomorrow, 2:10 Eastern, 1:10 Central, which means the video is actually going to be coming out, like, late afternoon, which is sort of odd. I'm used to doing these, like, almost at midnight. So tomorrow's going to be a bit of a change of pace. And we will have Jake Odorizzi on the mound, hopefully getting ready to make his second very good start as an Astro. So, that is all I have to say. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Stros.